and bouncers. The president's CIA nominee on the ropes. And Eye on America.
You cannot change.
Teenagers fighting back against the bottom. This is the CBS Evening News. Dan Rather reporting. Good evening. A kind of Mayday damage control operation is underway on Capitol Hill. It's designed to try to contain a tide of voter disgust with the latest examples of congressional excess. Just this evening, the House of Representatives voted to close, shut down the House bank, and look into possible ethics violations by members who used the bank. Chief political correspondent Bruce Morton begins our coverage of perks and politics.
Bowing to a storm of criticism after revelations that House members bounced and the House bank covered more than 8,000 checks in a 12-month period, Speaker Thomas Foley this afternoon said the bank should be closed.
No member of Congress should enjoy any privilege in banking operations or check cashing activities. It's not available to any other citizen, no better and no worse.
Check bouncers included House heavyweights, Energy Committee Chairman John Dingell, Republican Whip Newt Gingrich, and Speaker Foley himself, a $540 check in December of last year.
It's time to take the mask off this institution. It's time to expose the check writing scandal I like to call Rubbergate.
Then there was the House restaurant, where more than 300 past and present members racked up $300,000 in unpaid bills.
If you are in Dodge City, Kansas, America, my hometown, and you go to the cafe, you pay cash or you pay your bill at the end of the month, and they want to know why on earth we don't do the same.
This week's new policy, cash or credit cards only, and Roberts wants to post the names of the delinquents. The newest congressman, sworn in just today, reeked of caution.
I'm going to keep my checking account in Phoenix. I don't know where the cafeteria is, so, we won't be eating there. Probably do a brown bag lunch.
The image, of course, is Congress with its nose in the trough again. Citizens groups were angry.
Let's hold them accountable. I mean, you and I in our lives are held accountable. We're held accountable at work. We're held accountable at home. Why can't Congress be held accountable?
Citizens were angry. Ron Lyman runs this Dairy Queen in Cedar Rapids, Iowa.
I'm totally sick and tired of it. I think we've got a lot of incompetent people in there, and I think we need a whole new management system.
Tourists at the Capitol were angry, too.
They probably feel they are special or maybe above us in some way, and their actions prove that.
The Republican White House is trying not to burst out laughing. Press Secretary Marlin Fitzwater said, "We better decline to feast at that table." Bruce Morton, CBS News, Washington.
The House will be in order.
Critics call it the House of Lords.
I see an island cut off by the Potomac River that is increasingly out of touch with the rest of America.
An America where many voters have had enough.
They need to come back down to earth, get their feet on the ground.
Our system should not be based on seniority. It should be based on expertise.
A rebellion is building in the states with grassroots petition campaigns that seek to limit the terms of politicians. It started last year in Colorado. By an overwhelming 70%, Colorado voters elected to boot them out, to limit the terms of their U.S. congressmen and senators to no more than 12 years.
You Washington State voters?
The state of Washington is next. If this state's term limitation proposal becomes law, it could end the House career of Speaker Tom Foley.
The suggestion is somehow it's useful to end all experience and to rely on sort of fresh, inexperienced judgment would be unique in the political system. We don't apply it anywhere else in life.
And there's plenty of experience. More than 90% of incumbents are re-elected, leading to some legendary tenures. Thurman of South Carolina was elected before Sputnik. Whitten of Mississippi before Pearl Harbor. Limiting tenure is an idea spreading fast. 22 states are considering a cap on the terms of politicians.
It isn't a good system when the goal becomes so predominantly to get re-elected and re-elected and re-elected.
If this is government by experience and by expertise, then why have we got all these problems?
Many believe state-imposed limits will be found unconstitutional. Advocates of the idea hope the voter revolt will become so widespread that members of Congress will be forced to pass an amendment to the Constitution, effectively ending their own careers. Scott Pelley, CBS News, Denver.
Governor Bill Clinton of Arkansas made his official announcement today. He is running for the Democratic presidential nomination. Addressing supporters outside the old State House in Little Rock, Arkansas, Clinton said President Bush is out of touch with rank-and-file Americans because he favors the rich at the expense of the middle class.
Our country is headed in the wrong direction fast. It's falling behind. It's losing its way. And all we've gotten out of Washington is status quo paralysis.
With Governor Clinton's announcement today, 5 major Democrats are now officially running for president. This was a critical day in Senate confirmation hearings for President Bush's nominee to head the Central Intelligence Agency. Robert Gates responded to charges that while he was the number 2 man at the CIA and a favorite of the White House, he repeatedly slanted intelligence to fit the ideology and political agenda of higher-ups. Bob Schieffer reports.
Gates came out swinging, saying no wonder some who worked for him at the CIA in the 1980s have criticized him, because in those days he found the agency analysis
closed-minded, smug, arrogant responses to legitimate questions and constructive criticism.
He recalled telling analysts his mission was to shape up an agency guilty of, among other things,
flabby, complacent thinking and questionable assumptions, poor, verbose writing, and analysis that too often proved inaccurate or too fuzzy to judge whether it was even right or wrong.
But using memos and agency documents, Gates claimed 20 instances in which ex-CIA employees had wrongly accused him of slanting intelligence, including one charge he allowed President Reagan to be misled.
This allegation that I allowed a president to get CIA disinformation is a particularly reckless and pernicious charge.
Tempers flaring, committee Republicans called it worse than that.
But this committee did witness yesterday, as far as I'm concerned, an attempted assassination. The assassination of this man's character.
But Democrats are not convinced. To them, it is the agency's reputation that must be restored.
And I'm not sure that we help that image by confirming you for this position.
The selection of the head of American intelligence is not a popularity contest. I sure as hell wouldn't win one at CIA. But the president thinks that I'm the right man for that job.
But tonight, Hollings of South Carolina called Gates the wrong man for the job, and as if to underscore the Democratic doubts about Gates, the committee voted tonight to call him back before them tomorrow for more questioning. Bob Schieffer, CBS News at the Capitol.
And joining us now from Capitol Hill, ranking member of the Senate Intelligence Committee, Senator Sam Nunn of Georgia. Senator, thanks for being with us. You heard the testimony today. Does Gates have enough votes on the committee to win nomination?
I think, Dan, the deciding votes are undecided. I know I'm not going to make any decision until all of his testimony is in and until we get back from this break we're taking at the end of next week and have deliberations in the committee and hear what my fellow committee members have to say about it. This is a pretty complex matter, and it's a very important matter.
What about the argument that there's so much bad blood been exposed, so much infighting in the CIA, that Gates couldn't be an effective director even if he is confirmed?
I don't think it's the exposure of the bad blood that is the problem. It's the fact that it existed already and has been going on for at least 10 or 12 years. The agency has been in this kind of turmoil, frankly, since Bill Casey was in charge of it. And I think that Gates was caught in the position of being the deputy to an individual who was driven by policy. And there's nothing wrong with having policy drive an individual, but that individual shouldn't be head of the CIA, because the CIA is supposed to be independent of policy and let the conclusions really flow from the facts, rather than starting with conclusions and then having that drive the facts. That's the heart of why people back in the late 40s started the Central Intelligence Agency, to remove it from policy. And that's the key question here, as to whether Bob Gates would be able to do that, given the background that he's come from.
Senator Sam Nunn, live in Washington. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
The Senate began formal debate today on another nominee of President Bush, Clarence Thomas. He now appears to be assured of enough votes for confirmation to the Supreme Court in the full Senate. The vote on Thomas is scheduled for next Tuesday. Now, straight ahead on tonight's CBS Evening News, a report from inside Haiti, where pressure grows to overturn the military coup. And the first woman writer in a quarter century to win the Nobel Prize in Literature.
Chrysler LeBaron series, starting at under $14,000. The perfect balance between self-indulgence and common sense.
Now choose 770 powertrain or 336 bumper-to-bumper protection. Does your washing machine like to dance? When it gets unbalanced, does it strut its stuff instead of cleaning yours? What you need is a strong, silent type, the Frigidaire Horizon 2000. Unlike some washers, it adjusts to unbalanced loads and keeps on running. Frigidaire, clean clothes without the song and dance.
And now get up to $75 cash back on select new appliances from Frigidaire.
After a long struggle with Saddam Hussein for the right to carry out their mission, UN inspectors finally flew helicopters out of Baghdad today, searching for Scud missiles in the Iraqi desert. Meantime, the nuclear weapons team that got out of Baghdad earlier this week is going through its evidence. UN officials tell CBS News the documents point to a huge nuclear program involving 10,000 Iraqi people that was only about 15 months away from producing an actual bomb. Some American companies reportedly supplied parts for that program, though they may not have been aware of it. A delegation from the Organization of American States will head for Haiti tomorrow to warn the new military junta there that it faces total isolation unless it restores the nation's first freely elected president. The president is at the UN tonight to plead for help to reverse the coup. Back inside Haiti, there are unconfirmed reports that soldiers have killed up to 150 people this week, including a massacre in one Haitian slum neighborhood. Veteran CBS News correspondent Juan Vasquez is in Haiti.
For the fourth straight day, most residents of Port-au-Prince stayed at home. After the initial round of violence, the streets of the capital, normally teeming with people, are relatively empty, but under heavy patrol by well-armed police and military units seeking to ensure government control and to enforce a curfew that keeps civilians inside their homes after sundown. If there is any sign of popular support for the military leaders who overthrew President Aristide, it is not evident. In the center of the city, almost all of the makeshift barricades and piles of burning tires have been removed from the streets, but overturned vehicles remain an obstacle on the road to the airport, which has remained closed to commercial traffic since the onset of the military coup. General Raul Cedras, the military leader, has claimed that President Aristide signed a letter of resignation, but the signs of fighting at the National Palace indicate there was a struggle to seize power. The main gate was smashed by an armored car, and the white facade of the ornate building, occupied until this week by the nation's first democratically elected president, is newly pockmarked by dozens of bullets.
The new government would like to create the impression that things are returning to normal, but as long as a dusk-to-dawn curfew remains in effect and most Haitians refuse to go to work, it may be some time before the new government can consolidate power. Juan Vasquez, CBS News, Port-au-Prince.
The Nobel Prize in Literature is going to South African writer Nadine Gordimer. She says she hopes the honor will focus attention on the main theme of her work, apartheid. Bob Fall looks now at Nadine Gordimer and her native land.
Her 12 books and 200 short stories are not about violence on the streets of South Africa, but about what apartheid has done to blacks and whites living there, a kind of violence to the soul.
The laws that have determined the course of life for them are made of skin and hair. Skin and hair. It has mattered more than anything else in the world.
Her powerful words, said the Royal Swedish Academy, which gives the award, are of very great benefit to humanity, a sentiment shared by another South African who won the Nobel Peace Prize.
I've just had a wonderful call from Archbishop Tutu, who...
What did he say?
Well, you won't believe this, but I picked up the phone and said, Nadine...
Nadine Gordimer is the first woman recipient in 25 years for a prize which pays nearly $1 million, and while she's not sure how she'll spend it, there is no sign all that Nobel hoopla will change her quiet, elegant ways.
Okay, one at a time.
She said she hopes all the publicity will focus attention on young black writers back home, hopes that what she'd written has given a little courage to the silent majority in South Africa, where she says progress is being made slowly.
Nothing is going to stop us. Nothing is going to stop the eventual arrival of a non-racial, democratic, non-sexist South Africa. 3 cliches, but they happen to be true, and that's what we're after.
Her plans now? I would hope, she said, to get started on a new work. Bob Fall, CBS News, New York.
Stay right here with us now for more CBS News, including a murder trial in defense of the wall.
Ford Motor Company profiles in quality, reliability.
The quality of today's Fords, Lincolns, and Mercurys is no accident. It's engineered into every car and truck we build. We bump before you bump. We open and close. We brake, we shake, we get in and get out. We freeze, we start. When your goal is to build the highest quality cars and trucks in the world, you don't do it any other way.
At Ford, Mercury, and Lincoln, quality is job one.
What a feeling, feeling fresh.
Fix-It Fresh has a crisp, clean feeling and a stronger hold than any other cream adhesive. A fresh feeling and stronger hold are two great reasons to fix it and forget it.
Why do more people choose more of each of these brands at Sears Brand Central? One reason is that this Magnavox VCR with remote and on-screen programming is at a low $199. Right now, only at Sears Brand Central.
It's the one, the only Red Lobster Fest. It's the only time each year when we serve up lobster a dozen luscious ways. Our most delicious lobster at our most delicious prices. But only now during this special event. It's the one, the only Red Lobster Fest, starting at $8.99.
Red Lobster for the seafood lover in you.
Now try lunch on Sunday. Most items $4.99 or less. Only 60 minutes could assemble this much talent on one stage. Friday at 9, 8 Central. The Entertainers.
Germany celebrated the first anniversary of its reunification today, but the harmony was marred by echoes from the past. Thousands of people marched in Berlin protesting a rash of attacks against foreigners by neo-Nazis. And as Tom Fenton reports, the tragedy of the Cold War era is still being played out in the shadow of the wall.
A year after reunification, Germany is physically united. What was once the wall is only a scar, but parts have been kept as a haunting reminder of what the wall meant for a divided Germany. It was always East German policy to use force to stop citizens fleeing to the West. 200 were killed over the years. Now the first border guards of the former East German communist regime have gone on trial. These 4 young men in their mid-20s are charged with killing Chris Gefroy on February the 5th, 1989, when he tried to escape across no man's land. He was shot in the heart. The accused are caught between 2 systems, charged under West German law with a shooting that was legal under old East German law.
Ein zweites Mal in unserem Jahrhundert.
For the second time in this century, the prosecutor says, we are judging the crimes of a totalitarian regime. But many Germans think the wrong people are on trial.
The most guilty people are not the soldiers, but the generals and the politicians.
Former guard Dieter Jensen says fellow guards were praised when they shot an escapee. But when one got away, they were told to take target practice. He broke his legs fleeing across the wall because he couldn't stomach the shoot-to-kill order. I'm convinced, he says, that every one of those soldiers knew he was doing something wrong. The trial is causing a storm of controversy here. Many think it's wrong to try the guards for acts that were condoned by East German law. But it's also disturbing that 50 years later, another generation of Germans is again using the argument that they were only following orders. Tom Fenton, CBS News, Berlin.
Coming up here next, Eye on America. Tonight, the encouraging story of teen alcoholics on a tough climb toward recovery.
Because sometimes the day ends and the pain doesn't, we're introducing new Tylenol PM. It's more than relief. It's relief for those times when you can't sleep. Tylenol PM has extra-strength Tylenol pain reliever to help stop your nighttime aches and pains, plus a gentle ingredient to help you sleep, so you can wake up refreshed in the morning. From the name you trust comes new Tylenol PM, so you can rest easy.
On a hot west
West Texas desert, something was done that was never done before. The stock engine in this ZR1 Corvette broke a 14-year-old Mercedes record, running 28 straight hours, averaging 173 miles per hour. The big surprise, however, is that the engine designed for every Chevy is tested to even tougher durability standards. With 99 models redesigned and engineered, GM is putting quality on the road.
Tomorrow, America's #1 pediatrician, author T. Barry Brazelton.
With some new advice for new parents. Join us on CBS This Morning.
Breakfast for your head.
Tonight's Eye on America is a story of hope told by some young Americans who don't have much else. Their lives were shattered by dependence on alcohol. Now, as they try to pick up the pieces, they've found something else to depend on. Each other.
I'm going to have to fix what I've messed up, or who I've hurt.
Who have you hurt?
I can name a million. Myself, family, friends, girlfriend.
Can you talk about what's hurting you?
Just thinking about all the people that I've put down, that I've hurt.
When they start feeling and they start talking about their pain and crying and just expressing their pain and reaching out for help, that's when we know that they're getting better.
When I get out there, I have to make amends to a lot of people. I have to fix a lot of things. This is what I'm doing in here. I'm fixing myself.
God, grant us serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things we can.
It's my third rehab, but, I have a good feeling about this one because it really helps me out.
Tom, man, at the meeting the other night, I got pissed off. You said a few choice words to me. I was this close to coming after you, and I think your attitude's been real bad. I think you ought to take a look at it, man.
I used a lot of times when I got angry just to calm down, not be angry anymore. When I was younger, I was trying to, being a football player, just having a normal, good life, and, I'm mad about that because that ain't ever going to happen now.
When I was drinking, it just made me feel better about myself. It was like nothing could hurt me, nothing was bothering me. I was numb. Doing recovery is like something totally new to me.
Grab one hand, person not beside you.
I know how to scheme, I know how to get money, I know how to do all that, and this is totally new.
Your challenge is to untangle yourself without letting go of any hand. This is what we call adventure-based counseling. What that means is we want to have fun, but we also want to connect it with what you're here for, and that is to help you and support you in your recovery. All right, you got it. Give yourselves a hand.
Go up as high as you feel comfortable.
When I go home, I'm going back to the same people that I drank with, that I partied with, and I still live around those people. I think that's going to be the hardest thing for me.
You don't get sober by, climbing a tree 30 feet. But by climbing a tree 30 feet and seeing that there's a lot of people supporting you, encouraging you, helping you, that can send a message. And that is one of the ways you stay sober. Get the support from around you.
Such a great rush.
What's the difference between the kind of rush you got on this than drinking or drugs or something?
It's like when you're doing the drugs, it's I don't know, whatever you do is sort of gone tomorrow. I don't know, I feel doing this sober, it's like, it's going to be with me forever.
Outward bound activities helps the kids to begin to push themselves past the fear. We're a society that doesn't want to push ourselves a lot. And we have a tendency to be advertised into believing that we can take the easy way out on a lot of things. Recovery's not an easy proposition.
I have a good feeling that I'm going to do well. There's a lot of support for my family, and a lot of my friends don't use, so should be able to do pretty well.
I just want to rest for a couple minutes.
I don't want to go back out and use again, because I'll probably wind up dying.
All right, Ron, yeah.
I'm going to make it. I'm going to do anything that I have to do. I know where I'm going now. You know, I'm going in the right direction. I'm not going downhill like I was.
Take a moment, just the silence here. Think about yourself and the group.
Me and my pal Jim here plan to lay in a load of firewood before lunch. So we make no mistake about breakfast. Hot Quaker oats, pure nutrition. You know you're doing the right thing when you eat it. You can feel it helping you get all fired up. And when you're not feeling all hungry at 10 o'clock and you're still going strong at 11, you'll keep realizing all morning, Quaker oats is the right thing to do.
For years, Chrysler has stood behind every car and truck it makes with the industry's longest powertrain warranty. Since no one could improve upon it, we did, with the Owner's Choice Protection Plan. Now you can choose our legendary 7-year, 70,000-mile powertrain warranty or our new 3-year, 36,000-mile bumper-to-bumper coverage. At Chrysler, one of the best warranties in the business just got 100% better. Now where does that leave the competition?
Simon, I've got a clogged drain. What do I do?
I've got a hardware store full of things you could try. But I just got something in that's so strong, so fast, it's all you need. New Liquid Drano Professional Strength Plus. New Drano Plus has a unique, thick formula with more power than the leading competitor. That's a plus. So much power, it churns and busts through clogs in half the time. Another plus. Don't mess with anything else.
I won't.
Thicker, stronger, faster. That's the plus in New Drano Plus.
I just can't stand this anymore. How am I supposed to fall asleep with this pain? I could take one of those nighttime pain relievers with a sleep ingredient. But all I really need is Advil to help stop the pain that's keeping me up. Just Advil. That's all I want. Without the extra sleep ingredient, I don't want. Advil is so effective, it relieves the pain, so I can get to sleep.
Discover the relief of Advil at bedtime. Advil, advanced medicine for pain.
Updating tonight's top story, members of the House of Representatives voted this evening to close the House bank and to begin an ethics investigation of possible misuse of the bank by House members. This all an effort at political damage control over the disclosure that House members have been bouncing thousands of checks. Also, House members are now being told to pay up for the thousands of dollars they owe for meals they ordered at the House restaurant. Also, the Gates nomination still hangs in the balance as he prepares to answer more questions tomorrow. Those are tomorrow's headlines and part of our world tonight. Dan Rather reporting for the CBS Evening News. See you tomorrow. Good night.
The people of CBS News. Dan Rather.
Connie Chung.
Mike Wallace.
Paul Azan.
Harry Smith.
And Charles Carrault. Experience.
CBS News.
The ultimate bedding sale at Smith's Home Furnishings is your opportunity for tremendous savings on famous name mattresses. Choose from Sealy, Simmons, and Spring Air mattresses at amazing low prices. Whatever style, size, or cover you're looking for, you'll find on sale right now at Smith's. Plus, no